algae samples from Spectacle Island are wrong. Not contaminated wrong or equipment malfunction wrong. Wrong in a way that makes my gut clench, like when I found Dad's melanoma paperwork he'd been hiding for 6 months. I'm staring at the microscope for the 3rd time this morning because maybe I'm tired. Been pulling doubles since the bloom started 2 weeks ago. But no, still wrong. I'm Valentina Ruiz, 12 years with the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority, Marine Biology Division. I test harbor water quality. Exciting as it sounds. Mostly it's checking nitrogen levels and counting dinoflagellates until my eyes cross. But the cell walls on these Alexandrium fundian specimens are thicker than they should be. Way thicker. And there's something in them. Crystalline structures I've never seen in any phytoplankton. My desk is the usual disaster. Coffee mug from the New England Aquarium gift shop. Ramona got it for my birthday, the good sister. Stack of NOAA reports I should have filed last month. Half-eaten everything bagel from Brugger's that I forgot about. The lab smells like salt water and the cheap pine cleaner facilities uses. 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. Supposed to be routine bloom monitoring. Val, you seeing what I'm seeing? That's Jerome Wu, my lab partner, leaning over his own scope 3 stations down. Jerome's been here longer than me, 15 years. Knows harbor biology like I know my niece's TikTok drama. Which is to say, more than I want to. Depends what you're seeing. I'm rolling my chair over. Because I'm seeing cell walls that look like someone dipped them in glass. Jerome's got the same samples. Same island. Same collection point. Northeast of the old pier where they dumped construction debris in the 90s. His samples show the same thing. Crystalline formations inside the algae cells. Like the cells are building something. Growing something that isn't algae. Could be silica uptake? Jerome's trying to rationalize it. Diatoms incorporate silica naturally. These aren't diatoms. And that's not silica. I'm pulling up the spectrometer results on my computer. The elemental composition is all wrong. High concentrations of copper, mercury, lead. Harbors always had heavy metal contamination, legacy of the shipyards, the tanneries, the paint factories. But this? It's like they're concentrating all the pollution, building with it. My phone buzzes. Text from Ramona. Picking up Isabella at 3:30. You still good for dinner? She wants to show you her science project. Isabella's 10. My goddaughter, technically, but more like my kid half the time since Ramona's husband travels for work. Science project on ocean acidification. I helped her build a pH testing kit last week. I text back, yeah, 6:30 at yours? Tell Bella I've got real harbor samples to show her. Then I feel guilty because I don't know if these samples are safe to be around. Jerome's pulling up bloom tracking data. Val, look at the expansion rate. The bloom started near Spectacle Island 14 days ago. Small patch. We logged it, took samples, normal protocol. Alexandrium fundiens blooms happen every summer. They produce saxitoxin. Shellfish have to be monitored. Beaches sometimes close. Pain in the ass, but standard pain in the ass. Except this bloom's growth curve is exponential. Not logarithmic like normal algal blooms. Exponential. This doubled in area every 48 hours. Now it's covering most of Dorchester Bay. Satellite imagery shows it as a dark green stain spreading through the harbor. That can't be right. I'm rechecking his data. Nothing blooms that fast. They'd run out of nutrients. Unless they're making their own. Jerome's voice has that edge. The one he gets when he knows something's deeply fucked but doesn't want to admit it yet. Val, what if they're not just concentrating the heavy metals? What if they're using them? Like a metabolic pathway we haven't seen before. I don't want to think about that. New metabolic pathways mean new organism. Or evolved organism. I teach Isabella about evolution. Slow process, millions of years. Finch beaks and moth wings. Not 2 weeks in Boston Harbor. The water samples in front of me are glowing. Not metaphorically, actually glowing. Faint green bioluminescence that I didn't notice under the fluorescent lab lights. I turn off the overheads. The samples glow brighter. All of them. Every collection jar from Spectacle Island. Jerome, kill your lights. His samples are glowing too, pulsing almost like a heartbeat. Slow rhythm. One pulse every 3 seconds. My phone rings. Dispatch. That's weird, they usually email sample requests. I answer, Ruiz, Marine Bio. Dr. Ruiz, this is Harbor Patrol Coordination. We need someone from Water Resources at the commercial dock. Fish Pier. Captain's reporting something in the nets. Says it doesn't look right. What kind of something? He didn't want to say over radio. Said you need to see it. I look at Jerome. The glowing samples. The impossible growth curve. My gut does that clench again. Tell him I'll be there in 20 minutes. I'm already grabbing my field kit. Sample containers, pH meter, thermometer, collection nets. The basics. Ramona always complains I keep this stuff in my car like other people keep jumper cables. Because you never know when you'll need to test water quality at a family barbecue. Val? Yeah. Laugh it up. Jerome's coming with me. We're not saying it, but we're both thinking it. Whatever's in those nets came from the bloom. And if it's connected to what we're seeing in the samples, if the algae are doing something we don't understand, we need to see it. The harbor air hits me as soon as I step outside. Salt and fish and diesel fuel. Normal harbor smell. Except underneath there's something else. Something organic and wrong. Like when you find old seafood at the back of the fridge. That smell. Coming from the water. The fish pier is a 10-minute drive. I take Atlantic Avenue past all the new condos they built where the old warehouses used to be. Boston Harbor gentrification, million-dollar views of the water we spent 50 years cleaning up. The Big Dig, the Deer Island treatment plant, turning the harbor from toilet to tourist attraction. And now there's something wrong with it again. The fishing boat is the Mary Catherine, 30-footer. Day trawler, been working these waters for 20 years according to the registration. Captain's name is Dominic Turallo. He's standing on the deck looking like he wants to be anywhere else. 2 crew with him, both backing away from something in the stern. I'm climbing aboard with Jerome. Field kit banging against my hip. Captain Turallo? MWRA Marine Biology. You called about something in your nets. Dominic doesn't look at me. Keeps staring at the stern. You're gonna think I'm crazy. I test harbor water for a living. I've seen crazy. I'm moving toward whatever he's staring at. What did you pull up? We were trawling north of Thompson Island. Normal run. Net came up heavy, thought we had a good catch. But when we brought it up, the net is piled in the stern. Standard commercial fishing net, maybe 40 feet wide. And it's full. But not with fish. There's a body in the net, plural. 3 of them tangled in the webbing. But they're not fresh drowning victims. These bodies are old, decomposed, waterlogged, skin gone gray-green, except they're covered in algae. The same dark green bloom we've been tracking. The algae's growing on them, in them, through them, and they're glowing. Same bioluminescence as the lab samples, pulsing with that slow heartbeat rhythm. Jerome makes a sound next to me, not quite a gasp. More like when you get punched and the air goes out. I'm supposed to be professional, supposed to document and collect samples and follow protocol. But my hands are shaking as I pull out my camera. 3 bodies. Historical clothing looks like old work clothes. Canvas pants, heavy shirts. Fabric mostly rotted away. That's me talking. Shouldn't be saying it but can't help it. How old are these? That's the thing. Dominic's voice is rough. There's a wreck near Thompson Island. The Paula cargo ship that went down in 1943 hit a mine during convoy formation. 80 years ago, Navy sealed the site, marked it on charts. We don't trawl there usually, but the blooms pushed the fish south. So you trawled the wreck site. Jerome's putting it together faster than me. And brought up crew from the Paula. Crew that's been dead for 80 years. I'm taking photos, but my stomach's churning. Captain, you need to report this to Harbor Patrol. This is a maritime grave site. Already did. They told me to hold position and wait for MWRA. Said you'd know what to do about the algae. The algae, right? Because that's the weird part, not the 80-year-old corpses in your fishing net. Except it is the weird part, because normal algae doesn't do this. Doesn't grow on human remains like this. The coverage is complete. Every inch of exposed tissue is coated in that dark green film. And the bioluminescence is stronger here. Brighter. The bodies are glowing like those cheap glow sticks Isabella plays with at night. I'm pulling on gloves. Nitrile from my field kit. I need samples. Jerome's got that warning tone. We should wait for hazmat. If there's contamination, we're already breathing the same air as whatever's in this bloom. Samples now, hazmat later. I'm leaning over the net. The smell hits me harder. Not just rotting fish. Rotting everything. Organic decay mixed with something chemical. Copper, mercury, the heavy metals we saw in the lab samples. I scrape algae from the nearest body. The coating comes off in sheets, like peeling sunburned skin, but worse. Underneath, the tissue is crystallized. Same glassy structures we saw in the microscope. The algae isn't just growing on the body, it's incorporated into it. The flesh and the bloom are merging. My collection vial glows as soon as the sample hits it. Brighter than the lab samples. Whatever's happening here is more advanced than what we collected from open water. One of the crew is calling from the bow. There's more. I don't want there to be more. I really don't want there to be more. But I'm walking forward anyway. Jerome following. Dominic staying with his glowing corpses. The crew member, kid, maybe 25, is pointing over the rail. In the water. It's been like this for the last 10 minutes. The harbor water is thick with bloom. Dense green coverage extending in every direction. But it's not uniform. There are shapes in it. Patterns. Like something's moving beneath the surface. Making channels through the algae. And where the channels form, the bioluminescence gets brighter. How many crew were on the Paula? Jerome's asking the question I don't want to hear the answer to. I'm already pulling up the records on my phone. Historical Maritime Database. The Paula, cargo vessel, struck mine April 1943. Crew complement of 47. 18 survived. 29 bodies went down with the ship. 29 minus the 3 in the net. Jerome's doing the math. That's 26 still down there. The channels in the water are multiplying. More shapes moving. Coming closer to the boat. And the smell is getting stronger. That copper mercury decay smell. Coming up from below. My phone rings. Dispatch again. Dr. Ruiz, we're getting reports from Long Wharf. Commercial fishing boats bringing in catches with contamination. Cod and haddock covered in algae. Looks like the same bloom. We need you to. I'm already at Fish Pier. Tell Long Wharf to hold all catches. Don't let anything leave the dock. I'm watching those shapes in the water. Getting larger. Closer to the surface. And call MDPH. We need public health involved. This isn't just environmental contamination. I hang up. Text Ramona. Gonna be late for dinner. Sorry. Work thing with the bloom. Tell Bella I'll make it up to her. She texts back immediately. Be safe. Saw news about the harbor. They're saying stay away from the water. They're saying that now? I'm standing on a boat in the middle of it. Something breaks the surface 15 feet from the Mary Catherine. At first I think it's a seal. We get harbor seals sometimes, especially near the islands. But seals don't glow. And this is glowing. Bright green. That same pulsing rhythm. It's not a seal. It's a person. Or was a person. Covered in algae. Moving through the water like it's hunting. Like it can see us. Jerome grabs my arm. Val, we need to get off this boat. More shapes surfacing. All around the Mary Catherine. 6, 10, 15. All glowing. All moving with purpose. The crew from the Paula. Not dead anymore. Not exactly alive either. Something else. Something the algae made them into. Dominic's firing up the engine. Smart. Hold on. The Mary Catherine lurches forward, but the things in the water are fast. One grabs the rail, waterlogged hand wrapped in algae. Crystalline structures growing through the fingers like the bones are turning to glass. It's pulling itself aboard. I do something stupid. I grab the fire extinguisher from the emergency locker and spray it. CO2 foam hits the thing's chest and it recoils. Let's go. Falls back into the water with a splash that sends bioluminescent spray across the deck. The droplets hit my jacket, start glowing, spreading, like the algae's alive and trying to find new material to incorporate. Jerome's pulling me back. Don't touch it. Don't let it touch your skin. The boat's moving faster. Dominic's got the throttle wide open. We're leaving them behind, those glowing figures in the water. But I can see more of them. Dozens, spreading out from the wreck site, moving toward the shore, toward the fishing docks, toward Long Wharf, toward the beaches where people swim. I'm calling dispatch again, hands still shaking. This is Ruiz. We need to shut down the harbor. All of it. Commercial traffic, recreational, everything. And we need to evacuate the waterfront. Right now. Dr. Ruiz, what's the nature of the threat? What's the nature? Jesus. I'm looking at the glowing droplets on my jacket, watching them pulse. That 3-second rhythm like a heartbeat. The bloom is mobile, and it's using human remains as hosts. We have multiple contaminated entities in the water, potentially dozens, and they're heading for the shoreline. Silence on the other end. Then, I'm going to need you to repeat that. The dead from the Paula wreck are infected with the algae. They're active, they're moving, and they're spreading the contamination. Shut down the harbor. Now, the dispatcher's voice changes, gets formal. I'm connecting you to MDPH emergency response. Stay on the line. While I'm waiting, I'm watching the harbor behind us. The bloom is spreading faster, visible growth even at this distance. And those figures in the water, they're not randomly dispersing. They're moving in formation, coordinated, like they're following instructions, like something's controlling them. Jerome's collecting the samples we took, sealing them in biohazard containers from the field kit. Val, whatever this is, it's not natural evolution. Nothing adapts this fast. Not without. Without what? Without someone engineering it. The thought makes my stomach drop. Engineered bloom, weaponized algae, using harbor pollution and human remains as raw materials. But who would do that? Why? Then I remember, the Paula wasn't just any cargo ship. It was a convoy vessel. Wartime. And in 1943, everyone was developing biological weapons programs. What if the Paula wasn't carrying regular cargo? MDPH Emergency Response Center looks like every government office I've ever been in. Fluorescent lights, beige walls, motivational posters about hand washing. Except right now it's full of people who look like they haven't slept in 3 days. Because they haven't. None of us have. I'm presenting my findings to a room full of people who don't want to hear them. MDPH Director of Communicable Disease Control, Dr. Patricia Hammond, 50-something, looks like she used to run marathons before this job killed that hobby. Harbor Patrol Commissioner, Coast Guard Liaison, someone from MEMA, someone else from CDC Atlanta on video call, and Director of MWRA Operations, my boss's boss's boss, Angela Trent, who's looking at me like I just told her I believe in UFOs. Dr. Ruiz. Angela's got that voice. The one she uses in budget meetings when someone suggests we need more funding. You're telling us that contaminated corpses from a 1943 shipwreck are actively spreading a mutated algae bloom throughout Boston Harbor. Not mutated, engineered. I'm showing them the cellular analysis Jerome and I completed. 3 days of nonstop lab work. The crystalline structures, the heavy metal incorporation, the impossible metabolic pathways. This isn't natural evolution. The algae has been modified to concentrate pollutants and use them as structural components. And it's specifically adapted to colonize human tissue. Adapted by whom? That's Dr. Hammond. You're suggesting this is a biological weapon from 1943? I'm suggesting the Paola was carrying something that got released when the ship went down. And 80 years of harbor pollution gave it the raw materials to evolve into what we're seeing now. The CDC guy on screen, Dr. Boone, according to his name tag, is reviewing the data. The genetic sequencing doesn't match any known phytoplankton. It's not even close. This is showing horizontal gene transfer from multiple species. Bacteria, fungi, even some animal DNA sequences. How is that possible? Angela again, not believing it even though the evidence is right there. It's not. That's me. Not naturally. Which is why I think it was designed to do this. Absorb genetic material from its environment and incorporate it. Build with whatever's available. And it's using corpses as... Dr. Hammond can't finish the sentence. Mobile distribution vectors. Jerome's with me pulling up the tracking data. Every body that gets colonized becomes a carrier. They move through the water spreading spores. Each one can infect an area with a half-mile radius. We're tracking 27 confirmed entities currently. That's coverage of most of the inner harbor. How do we stop it? Harbor Patrol Commissioner, man named Vickers, Coast Guard background, wants solutions, not theories. We can't. That's not what they want to hear, but it's the truth. We've tested every algaecide we have. Copper sulfate, hydrogen peroxide, even experimental compounds. It incorporates them, uses them as fuel. Killing it makes it stronger. The room goes quiet, that bad quiet, like when a doctor tells you the cancer's stage 4. What about the bodies? Angela's trying to find something actionable. Can we contain them? Keep them away from populated areas. They're already at populated areas. I'm pulling up the Harbor Patrol reports. Sightings at Castle Island, at the Harbor Walk near Seaport District, at the marina in Charlestown. They move at night mostly, during high tide, using the current to spread. But we've had 3 confirmed beach encounters in the last 24 hours. Encounters. Dr. Hammond's looking pale. What happened? I don't want to tell her about the jogger at Carson Beach. The one who thought it was a drowning victim and tried to pull it from the water. How the bloom transferred on contact. How his skin started crystallizing within minutes. How he's currently in isolation at Mass General with algae growing through his bloodstream. But I have to tell her, because that's 18 hours ago and his condition isn't improving. And this morning his heart rate synchronized with that 3-second rhythm. The same pulse as the bloom. Contact with the contaminated entities results in immediate infection. The algae enters through broken skin, mucous membranes, even intact tissue if exposure is prolonged. It replicates using the host's biological material. We're estimating 12 to 48 hours until complete colonization. You're talking about people turning into those things. Vickers, stating it clearly because nobody else will. Yes. Angela stands up. We need to evacuate the waterfront. All residential areas within a half-mile of the harbor. Issue a mandatory shelter-in-place for everyone else. That's 200,000 people. The MEMA guy hadn't spoken until now. We don't have the infrastructure to. Then we build it. Angela cuts him off. Dr. Ruiz, what about containment? Barriers? Can we keep it in the harbor? We're already losing that battle. Jerome's showing the expansion projections. The bloom has reached the Charles River mouth. Every waterway connected to the harbor is getting contaminated. And the rain yesterday, storm runoff carried it into the storm drains. It's in the sewers now. That's Dr. Hammond. Not very professional, but I get it. Because the sewers mean it can spread underground. Pop up anywhere there's water. Every basement sump pump, every rain garden, every decorative fountain in the new developments. My phone buzzes. Ramona. Val, they're evacuating our neighborhood. They're saying harbor contamination. Isabella's scared. Can you tell us what's happening? My neighborhood. Ramona's place is off Day Boulevard, quarter mile from Carson Beach. right in the evacuation zone. I text back, pack essentials. Go to mom's place in Medford. Don't go near any water. Not tap water, not rain puddles. Nothing until I tell you it's safe. She responds, Val, you're scaring me. I know. I'm sorry. Just go. Please. Dr. Hammond's looking at me. She saw me texting. Dr. Ruiz, do you have family in the evacuation zone? My sister and my goddaughter. I put the phone away. Try to focus. They're leaving now. Good. She actually sounds sympathetic. We're going to get through this. We're going to. The conference room door opens. Harbor Patrol Officer. Out of breath. Commissioner Vickers, we have a situation at the Seaport Fish Processing Plant. Workers are reporting contamination in the cold storage. Processing plant. Cold storage. That's where they keep the commercial catch before distribution. Thousands of pounds of seafood, all caught in harbor waters over the last 2 weeks. All potentially contaminated. How much product? Vickers is already moving toward the door. Approximately 12,000 pounds. Scheduled for distribution to restaurants and markets throughout New England. Starting tomorrow, the room erupts. Everyone talking at once. Because we all understand what that means. The bloom isn't just spreading through water anymore. It's in the food supply. And we have less than 24 hours to stop it from reaching dinner tables from Maine to Connecticut. Angela's giving orders. Quarantine the plant. I want every piece of seafood tested before it leaves that facility. No distribution until we clear it. There's more. The officer looks sick. Some of the product already left. Yesterday's shipment went to 47 restaurants in Boston alone. Plus the markets in Cambridge, Somerville. How much? 3,000 pounds. 3,000 pounds of contaminated seafood. Already distributed. Possibly already consumed. Dr. Hammond's on her phone. I need a public health advisory immediately. All seafood from Boston Harbor. Consumption ban effective now. And someone get me a list of every restaurant that received yesterday's shipment. We need to contact them before dinner service. But it's past 5 p.m. Dinner service has already started. My phone rings. Mom. I answer, Mom, not a good time. Valentina, what's happening? Ramona's here with Isabella. She says you told her to evacuate? The news is saying something about harbor contamination, but nobody's explaining. Mom, listen carefully. Don't eat any fish. Nothing from the harbor. Nothing from restaurants this week. And keep Isabella inside. Don't let her play in any water, even sprinklers. Can you do that? You're scaring your mother, Val. I know. I'm sorry. Just please. Isabella's voice in the background. Is Auntie Val okay? Can I talk to her? Tell her I'm fine. Tell her I'm working on her ocean project, the one about pollution. Tell her. My voice cracks because I don't know what to tell her. That her ocean is dying? That something we did, 80 years of dumping poison in the water, created this? That her science project about pH levels doesn't matter because the harbor itself is turning into something that kills you? Tell her I love her, and I'll call her soon. I hang up. Dr. Hammond's watching me again. Your goddaughter? She's 10. Wanted to be a marine biologist like her aunt. Past tense. Because I don't know if there's going to be marine biology to study after this. Not in Boston Harbor. Maybe not anywhere. Angela's next to me, speaking quietly. We need options. I know you said we can't kill it, but there has to be something. Some way to slow it down while we evacuate. There might be. I've been thinking about this for 3 days, dreading what I'll have to recommend. The bloom thrives on pollution, heavy metals especially. It's concentrating the contamination from 80 years of industrial dumping. But there's a point where even it can't process more. A saturation threshold. You want to poison it. Jerome gets it immediately. Introduce so much contamination that it can't keep up. We'd be dumping massive amounts of toxic waste into the harbor. That's the MEMA guy. The environmental impact. is already catastrophic. I cut him off. The bloom is worse than anything we could dump. At least chemical contamination is something we know how to clean up eventually. This, I point to the images on screen, the glowing bodies, the crystallized tissue. We don't know how to stop this, but we might be able to overwhelm it, temporarily, by time for evacuation. Angela's considering it. What would we need? Access to industrial waste. Copper, mercury, lead. The stuff we spent 50 years removing from the harbor. We put it back in, all at once, concentrated near the wreck site. Flood the area with more contamination than the bloom can process. And if it works, Vickers, if we saturate it, it might go dormant, or it might just concentrate the new contamination like it did the old stuff. But either way, it stops spreading for a while. Maybe long enough to figure out how to kill it properly. And if it doesn't work, Dr. Hammond knows the answer but asks anyway. Then we've made it stronger, and it spreads faster. The room goes quiet again, because that's the choice. Risk making it worse or watch it spread unchecked. Kill the harbor to maybe save the city. Poison everything we worked for to buy time we might not get. Angela looks at me. If this was your sister in the evacuation zone, your goddaughter, what would you recommend? I think about Isabella, her science project, her ocean, the future I wanted her to have. All of it contaminated now. All of it wrong. Do it. Dump the waste. Saturate the wreck site. It's the only chance we have. She nods. Turns to Vickers. How fast can you mobilize industrial waste transport? 12 hours if we pull ships from private contractors. 6 if we commandeer them. Do it. I want enough contamination to turn that wreck site into a toxic dead zone. Dr. Ruiz, you'll supervise the operation. Make sure we're hitting the right concentrations. Yes, ma'am. She's already leaving. Everyone moving. Phones ringing. Emergency protocols activating. And I'm standing there knowing what I just recommended. That we destroy the harbor we spent generations cleaning. That we turn back the clock on 50 years of environmental recovery. That Isabella's ocean, the one she wanted to study and protect, is going to become a toxic waste dump again because of something we created. Something we buried in the water and hoped would stay buried. Jerome touches my shoulder. Val, we should go. 6 hours isn't much time. Yeah. I'm not moving yet, still looking at those images. The glowing bodies, the crystallized tissue, 27 of them now. How many more down in that wreck? How many more potential vectors waiting to be colonized? And that jogger at Carson Beach, the one who tried to help. How many hours does he have before he joins them? Before he becomes another glowing thing in the water? Spreading this further? My phone buzzes. Ramona, we're at Mom's. Isabella wants to know when you're coming over. She misses you. I miss her too. Miss her normal questions about tide pools and whale migration. Miss when the ocean was something beautiful and not something that kills you. I text back, soon, I promise. But I don't know if that's true. Don't know if there's going to be a soon. Not if this doesn't work. The operation starts at midnight. 6 industrial waste haulers commandeered from cleanup contractors. Each one loaded with concentrated heavy metals, copper sulfate, mercury compounds, lead oxide. The stuff we pulled from the harbor sediment during the Big Dig. The stuff we've been storing in hazmat facilities for 20 years, waiting for proper disposal. We're putting it back. I'm on the lead harbor patrol vessel. Vickers commanding. Jerome's with me. The waste haulers are in formation behind us. We're heading for the Paula wreck site, Thompson Island, northeast quadrant, where this started. The harbor is glowing. Entire surface covered in bioluminescent bloom. That slow 3-second pulse. Like the whole harbor has a heartbeat now. We're cutting through it. Boats wake, leaving trails of disturbed algae that glow brighter when agitated. Vickers' voice over the radio. We're approaching drop point. Confirm contamination protocol. I'm checking the specs one more time. Concentration levels. Distribution pattern. We need to saturate the wreck site without spreading the contamination too thin. Need enough density to overwhelm the bloom's processing capacity. Confirmed. Begin dumping at wreck coordinates. Circular pattern, 50-meter radius. All 6 haulers simultaneously. The first hauler moves into position. I watch the loading mechanism activate. Watch the liquid waste pour into the harbor. Dark stream hitting the glowing water. Spreading. Creating a contamination zone that makes my environmental science degree weep. But it's working. Where the waste hits, the bioluminescence dims. Not disappearing, that would be too easy, but fading. Like we're drowning it. Overwhelming it. The second hauler empties. Third. Fourth. The contamination zone is expanding. The glow is getting weaker. The bloom's pulsing slows. Goes irregular. Like a heartbeat stuttering. It's working. Jerome's watching the readings. Toxicity levels are exceeding its metabolic capacity. It can't process this much contamination at once. Keep dumping. I'm on the radio. All 6 haulers. Complete discharge. We need total saturation. The last of the waste goes in. Thousands of gallons of concentrated poison. The wreck site is now a toxic dead zone. Nothing could survive this. Not fish, not algae, not anything. The bioluminescence is almost gone. Just faint traces. The 3-second pulse barely visible. We did it. We killed it. Then the water erupts. Not explodes, erupts. Like something massive is surfacing. And it is. The Paula herself. The wreck is rising. Metal hull covered in algae. Crystallized. Transformed. The entire ship has been colonized. Turned into a structure. A shell. For something much larger. The bloom wasn't using the bodies as hosts. It was using the whole wreck. Building something in the hull. Growing something, and we just fed it. The Paula breaks the surface completely. Water streams off the deck. And I see them. Hundreds of them. The crew. Not just the 29 who went down with the ship. All of them. All 47. The survivors too. Returned to the water somehow. Drawn back. Colonized over decades. Standing on the deck. Moving, but not randomly. They're working. Operating the ship. Like they're still following orders from 80 years ago. The bloom didn't just colonize them. Preserved their neural patterns. Their memories. Their purpose. And now it's using them to operate a ship that should be scrap metal. All vessels. Full reverse. Vickers is screaming into the radio. Get away from the wreck. Too late. The Paula's engines are firing. Impossible. Those engines have been underwater for 80 years, should be completely corroded, but they're running. Steam rising from stacks that glow green from the inside. The ship is moving. Under power. Heading toward us. No, not toward us. Past us. Heading for the inner harbor. For the city. It's going to beach itself. Jerome's got the trajectory plotted. It's heading for the seaport. Right into the commercial district. Where there are still people. Thousands of them waiting for evacuation buses. Sheltering in buildings along the waterfront. And the Paula is carrying hundreds of contaminated entities. Plus whatever the bloom built inside that hull. Heading straight for them. I need to stop this. Need to do something. My brain's running through options, scenarios, protocols, everything I learned in 12 years of harbor management. And coming up with nothing. Because nothing in my training covered 80-year-old zombie ships driven by engineered algae blooms. Can we disable it? Damage the hull? Sink it again? With what? We're a patrol boat. We've got small arms and a fire hose. The Coast Guard liaison is on the radio. We have a cutter 20 minutes out, armed with deck guns. They can shell it. 20 minutes puts it at the seaport dock. Jerome's checking the speed. It'll run aground in 15 minutes. That's all we have. 15 minutes to stop a ship full of contaminated crew from reaching the evacuation zone. From spreading the bloom into crowds of people who can't escape fast enough. I'm looking at the waste haulers. 6 industrial tankers. Empty now, except the pump systems, the distribution mechanisms, the equipment designed to spread concentrated contamination. Vickers, the haulers, can they ram the Paula? Ram it? Dr. Ruiz, those are civilian vessels. The captains aren't going to. I'm not asking the captains. I'm already moving toward our boat's helm. I'm asking you. Harbor Patrol has authority to commandeer vessels in emergency situations. This is an emergency. He looks at the Paula, at the glowing figures on its deck, at the trajectory heading for the city. You're talking about scuttling 6 commercial vessels. I'm talking about creating obstacles, slowing it down. Every minute we buy is people getting further from the waterfront. I'm pulling up the harbor depth charts on my phone. The channel's shallow here, 40 feet. If we can damage the Paula's hull enough, ground it before it reaches the seaport, it might work. That's Jerome. Or it might just create 6 more contaminated vessels for the Bloom to colonize. You got a better idea? Silence. Because there isn't one. This is the choice. Risk making it worse or watch it reach the evacuation zone. Sacrifice the haulers to maybe slow it down. Maybe. Vickers grabs the radio. All hauler captains, this is Harbor Patrol Authority. Under emergency maritime powers, I'm ordering you to intercept the target vessel. Collision course. Disable its propulsion by any means necessary. Static. Then, Harbor Patrol, this is Hauler 3. You're ordering us to ram that thing. Affirmative. Your vessels are expendable. The civilian population is not. You have 3 minutes to evacuate your crews to our patrol boats. Then I need you to hit that wreck hard enough to stop it. More static. Longer. I'm watching the Paula getting closer. The glow is intensifying. The contaminated crew are moving faster, preparing for something. For landfall, for infection. Harbor Patrol, Hauler 3. We're doing it. All 6 captains confirm. Evacuating crews now. The next 3 minutes are chaos. Patrol boats moving in. Hauler crews jumping to deck. 6 ships emptied of personnel. Left running on remote guidance systems. And the Paula keeps coming. The crew on its deck are gathering at the bow. Dozens of them. Hundreds. All glowing with that coordinated pulse. Ready to disembark. Ready to spread. Haulers in position. Vickers is coordinating from our boat. Execute ramming sequence on my mark. Target the stern, disable the propulsion screws. 3, 2, 1. Mark. The first hauler hits the Paula's stern at full speed. Metal screaming. The impact sends a shockwave through the water. The Paula shudders. Slows, but doesn't stop. Second hauler. Third. They're hitting it from different angles. Trying to bracket it. Damage the hull integrity. Each impact sends more contaminated water spraying into the air. More glowing droplets falling like toxic rain. Fourth hauler catches the Paula's portside propeller. There's a grinding sound. Metal on metal, horrible screeching, and the propeller shaft breaks. The ship lists, starts turning. Of course, it's working. Jerome's tracking the trajectory. It's turning away from the seaport, but not stopping. The starboard propeller is still functional. The Paula's correcting, compensating, still heading for shore. Just a different location now. Castle Island. The beach, where families go swimming in summer. Where Isabella wanted to have her 10th birthday party last year until Ramona decided the aquarium was better. Fifth hauler. Sixth. Both hit the starboard side. The propeller there shears off. Now the Paula has no propulsion. It's drifting, current carrying it, momentum pushing it toward the shallows. But the contaminated crew don't care. They're jumping off, dozens of them, abandoning the ship, swimming for shore, moving through the water faster than any human should, faster than I can process. They're going to make landfall anyway. Vickers, we need to contain them, keep them away from the beach. How? We can't shoot them all. And even if we could, we don't know if bullets work on Fire. I'm not thinking clearly anymore, just reacting. Survival mode. The bloom concentrates petroleum products, hydrocarbons. It's essentially oil-based now. It'll burn. You want to set the harbor on fire. I want to create a barrier between them and the beach. Use fuel from the patrol boats. Spread it on the water. Ignite it. Force them back. Jerome's staring at me. Val, that's insane. I know, but we're out of options. They hit that beach, they spread into the neighborhoods. Every person they touch gets infected. Every water source they contaminate becomes a new vector. This is the line. Right here. We stop them now or we lose the whole coast. Vickers doesn't hesitate. He's already giving orders. All patrol boats, dump fuel tanks. Create a perimeter between the contaminated entities and Castle Island Beach. Prepare for ignition. The boats move into formation. I watch the fuel spill. Dark rainbows spreading across the glowing water, mixing with the bloom. The algae starting to incorporate the hydrocarbons. Getting denser, more concentrated. The contaminated crew are swimming through it. Getting closer to shore. 200 yards. 150. 100. Light it. I'm saying it. Me, the marine biologist who spent 12 years trying to clean this harbor. Light it now. Flare gun. Single phosphorus round. Vickers fires it into the fuel slick. The harbor ignites. Flames spread faster than I expected. The bloom's hydrocarbon concentration makes it burn like gasoline. Wall of fire erupting across the water. 20 feet high. Roaring. Heat hits us even at 50 yards. My face feels sunburned instantly. The contaminated crew are trapped in it. I watch them burn. Watch the algae crystallize and crack in the heat. Watch the bodies, these people who died 80 years ago, who've been colonized and used and turned into distribution vectors, finally die again. For real this time. The smell is unthinkable. Burning flesh and burning oil and something chemical underneath. The heavy metals in the bloom combusting, creating toxic smoke that rolls across the water like a living thing. We're breathing it. All of us. Can't help it. It's everywhere. My throat burns. Eyes watering. But I can't look away. Can't stop watching those figures in the flames. Because some of them are still moving. Still trying to reach shore. Still following whatever orders the bloom gave them. Even while they burn, it takes 10 minutes for the fire to consume them all. 10 minutes of that smell. That sound. Popping and hissing, and occasionally something that sounds like screaming but can't be because they're not alive, not really, just biomass being used by something that doesn't care about human suffering. The flames die down. The fuel's exhausted. What's left is a charred scum on the water. Black and green mixed together. Still glowing faintly. That 3-second pulse. Weaker now but not gone. Not gone. Jerome. My voice sounds wrong. Rough from the smoke. Tell me that killed it. He's taking readings. Water samples from the edge of the burn zone. Running tests on the portable analyzer. His face tells me everything before he says it. It's still viable. Damaged but viable. The fire killed the mobile vectors, but the bloom itself is heat-resistant. The crystalline structures protected it. It's already starting to regenerate. Of course it is. Because we fed it. Gave it all that concentrated contamination. Made it stronger. And now we've eliminated the only thing slowing it down, the bodies it was using to move. Now it'll adapt. Find new vectors. New methods. We made it worse. My phone rings. Angela. I don't want to answer, but I do. Dr. Ruiz, what happened out there? We're seeing reports of fire on the harbor. Thermal satellites showing massive heat signature. We stopped the Paula. Prevented it from reaching the seaport. But the bloom survived. It's regenerating. I'm trying to think. Trying to find solutions. But my brain is full of smoke and burning bodies and Isabella's face when she talked about marine biology. We need to evacuate further inland. Not just waterfront. Anything within 2 miles of the harbor. Storm drains, sewers, any water source. It's gonna spread through all of it. 2 miles? That's half the city. We can't. It's already in the seafood supply. 3,000 pounds distributed yesterday. If people consumed it, if it's in their systems, I can't finish. Because I know what happens. Saw it happen to that jogger. Saw him start glowing with that 3-second pulse. Saw the algae growing through his bloodstream. How many people ate harbor fish last night? How many new vectors are we about to create? Get me a list. Angela's voice is steel. Every restaurant, every market, every customer who bought seafood in the last 72 hours. We need to track them. Quarantine anyone showing symptoms. What symptoms? We don't know how it presents in early stages. Could be anything. Nausea, fever, rash. Then we quarantine everyone who consumed it. However many that is. That could be thousands of people. I know. Silence. Just the sound of water lapping against the patrol boat. The smell of smoke. The faint glow from the regenerating bloom. Jerome's next to me, speaking quietly. Your sister. Did she eat out recently? Did Isabella? My stomach drops. I don't know. Ramona usually cooks, but sometimes they get takeout. There's that place in Dorchester she likes. The Portuguese one with the seafood stew. I'm calling her. It rings 4 times. 5, 6. Come on, Ramona. Pick up. 7, 8. Voicemail. Hey, it's Ramona. Leave a message. I'm calling again. Same thing. Voicemail. Jerome. What time is it? Almost 2 a.m. She should be asleep. Should have her phone on silent. That's normal. That's fine. That's not her being infected and unable to answer because her nervous system is being colonized by engineered algae. I'm texting. Ramona, call me immediately. Emergency. Need to know if you or Isabella ate any fish in last 3 days. Any fish at all. No response. Message shows delivered but not read. Val. Jerome's trying to be gentle. She's probably just asleep. It's 2 in the morning. Don't assume. My phone rings. Mom. I answer so fast I almost drop it. Mom. Is Ramona okay? Is Isabella? They're sleeping, Valentina. What's wrong? Why are you calling at this hour? I need you to wake Ramona up. Right now. It's important. Val. She just got to sleep an hour ago. She's exhausted from the evacuation. Mom. Please. I need to talk to her. Silence. Then footsteps. Door opening. Mom's voice distant. Ramona. Ramona. Wake up. It's Val. She says it's urgent. More silence. Longer than it should be. Mom? What's happening? She's not waking up. Ramona. Ramona. Mom's voice getting scared. Valentina, something's wrong. She's breathing but I can't wake her. And her skin. What about her skin? It's cold. So cold. And there's something, I don't know how to describe it. It looks like frost? Like crystals forming. Call 911. Right now. Tell them suspected exposure to harbor contamination. She needs immediate quarantine. Don't touch her. Don't let Isabella near her. Do you understand? Keep Isabella away from her. Val, what's happening? What's wrong with my daughter? Just call 911. I'm coming to you. I look around. I'm on a patrol boat in the middle of the harbor. Miles from Medford. I'll be there as fast as I can. Keep Isabella safe. Please. I hang up. Vickers is watching me. My sister. She's infected. We need to get to shore. Now. We can have you at Central Wharf in 15 minutes. Do it. The boat turns. Heads for the city. I'm watching the harbor pass. The glowing bloom. The wreckage of the Paula. The charred remains floating on the surface. All of it my fault. All of it because I recommended dumping the waste. Feeding it. Making it stronger. And now Ramona's infected. Because she ate contaminated fish. Because the distribution system failed. Because we didn't catch it in time. Because I didn't stop it in time. Jerome's next to me. not saying anything. What is there to say? We did our best. We tried everything. We used all our knowledge, all our competence, all our resources, and it wasn't enough. My phone buzzes. Text from mom. Ambulance here. They're taking her to Mass General. Hazmat suits. They won't let me go with her. Isabella's asking where her mother is. What do I tell her? What do I tell her? That her mother is turning into one of those glowing things? That the algae is growing through her bloodstream, crystallizing her tissue, turning her into a distribution vector? That in 12 to 48 hours she'll be like the crew of the Paula colonized, controlled, used? I text back, tell her mommy got sick from the harbor contamination. Tell her the doctors are helping. Tell her I'm coming. But I don't know if the doctors can help. Don't know if there's any treatment. We don't even understand the mechanism, how it replicates, how it takes over the host system. All we know is that it does. And now it's doing it to Ramona. The patrol boat reaches Central Wharf. I'm jumping off before it's even properly docked. Running for the street. There's a cab, last cab in Boston, still working at 2 a.m. during a harbor contamination emergency. I flag it down. Mass General. Emergency entrance. Fast as you can. The driver looks at me, at my clothes covered in soot and harbor water, at my face probably looking desperate and crazy. You all right, lady? Just drive. He drives. I'm in the back seat texting updates to Angela. Ramona's infected. Consumed seafood from contaminated catch. Presenting with hypothermia and crystalline skin formations. Estimated exposure 72 hours ago, which means she's 12 to 48 hours from complete colonization, which means I have maybe a day to figure out how to save her. 1 day to solve what 12 years of training and 3 days of intensive research couldn't solve. 1 day to do the impossible. The cab pulls up to Mass General. I throw cash at the driver. Don't wait for change. Running into the emergency entrance. Hazmat protocols everywhere. Staff in protective gear. Isolation units set up in the parking lot. White tents glowing from internal lights. I'm yelling at the intake desk. She was just brought in. Harbor contamination. Where is she? The nurse checks her system. Isolation Unit 3. But you can't. I'm already moving. Following the tent numbers. Unit 1. Unit 2. Unit 3. There's a window. Plastic sheeting. I can see inside. Ramona's on a gurney. For lines running. Heart monitor beeping. That 3-second rhythm. The same pulse as the bloom. Her skin is crystallizing. Green-tinted formations growing along her arms. Her neck. Her face. The algae is inside her. Building with her tissue. Turning her into something else. A doctor approaches. Full hazmat suit. Dr. Hammond said you'd be here. How is she? Can you stop it? We're trying. We've administered every antibiotic, antifungal, antiparasitic we have. Nothing's working. The contamination is resistant to all standard treatments. We're seeing similar presentations in 14 other patients across 3 hospitals. All consumed harbor seafood in the last 72 hours. 14. Just the beginning. How many more consumed it? How many more are incubating right now, don't know they're infected yet? I need to see her. Talk to her. She's unconscious. Has been since arrival. The contamination seems to induce a coma state during colonization. We think it's the neurological integration process. I don't care about the process. I need to see my sister. The doctor hesitates, then nods. 5 minutes. Full protective gear. Don't touch her directly. The contamination can transfer through skin contact. They suit me up. Tyvek coveralls, gloves, respirator mask. I look like I'm prepping for a moon landing. Maybe I am. Maybe Ramona's already somewhere I can't follow. They let me into the tent. The smell hits me even through the respirator. That copper mercury decay smell. The bloom's signature is coming from her. From her breath, her pores, her crystallizing skin. Ramona. I'm next to the gurney. Careful not to touch. Can you hear me? No response. just the heart monitor. That 3-second pulse. I'm so sorry. I should have caught this sooner. Should have tested the seafood before it left the processing plant. Should have. Her eyes open, not normal eyes. Not Ramona's warm brown eyes that look like mom's. These are wrong. Clouded. Green tinted. The algae has reached her eyes, but she's looking at me. Recognizing me. Val. Her voice is wrong too. Raspy, like she's drowning. Isabella. Don't let her. Isabella's fine. She's with mom. She's safe. Good. Good. Ramona's hand moves, trying to reach for me. I want to take it. Want to hold my sister's hand like when we were kids and she was scared of thunderstorms. But I can't. The contamination. It'll transfer. Don't try to talk. Save your strength. No strength to save. She's smiling. That's worse somehow. Seeing her smile with those wrong eyes. It's taking me. I can feel it. Growing. Changing. Using my biology to build something. We're going to stop it. We're going to find a treatment. Val, you're a terrible liar. Always have been. Her breathing is getting worse. Wet rattling sound. Promise me, Isabella, if this spreads, if it gets bad, you'll take care of her. Euro. You're going to take care of her. You're going to get through this and Euro. Promise me. Can feel tears running under the respirator mask. I promise. I'll take care of her. I'll protect her. No matter what. Ramona relaxes, closes her eyes. Thank you. Tell her the ocean is beautiful. Don't let this make her hate it. Not your fault. Not the ocean's fault. Things we couldn't predict. Ramona, you should go. Before it finishes. Don't want you to see. Don't want Isabella to know. Just tell her I got sick. Tell her I loved her. The monitor alarm goes off. Heart rate spiking. 200 BPM. 250. 300. Get her out. The doctor's pulling me back. The colonization is accelerating. She's entering final stage. I'm being dragged toward the exit, watching Ramona's body convulse. The crystalline formations spreading faster, covering her completely. Her skin turning translucent, glowing from the inside. The heart monitor hits 400, then flatlines. But Ramona doesn't die. She sits up. The 4 lines tear out. The monitoring leads disconnect. She's moving, but it's not Ramona anymore. Something wearing Ramona. Something the bloom built using her biological material. Her eyes open again. Fully green now. Glowing. That 3-second pulse. She looks at me, through me, like I'm not even there. Then she lies back down, goes still, waiting. What's she waiting for? I'm asking the doctor. Instructions. They all do this. Achieve full colonization, then enter a dormant state. Like they're waiting for a signal. A command to activate. Command. From what? From where? The Paula's wreck. That's where it started. That's where the bloom is concentrated. That's where, oh God, the contamination we dumped. We didn't overwhelm it. We fed it, gave it everything it needed to reach critical mass, to achieve whatever it was designed to do 80 years ago. Dr. Ruiz, what are you saying? It's not done. The Paula was carrying biological weapons, designed to colonize human populations, use them as distribution vectors for something worse. We thought it failed. Thought it died when the ship sank. But it didn't die. It just waited. 80 years. Growing. Learning. Using harbor pollution to build itself back up. Now what? Now it's ready. And we just gave it 14 new vectors. 14 infected people in hospitals across Boston. Connected to water systems. Breathing recycled air. In buildings full of other people. The doctor's face goes pale. We need to evacuate the hospitals. We need to evacuate the city. It's been 6 weeks. The harbor is closed. Has been since that night. Every waterway within 20 miles is under federal quarantine. No traffic. The Coast Guard shoots on sight if you try to cross the barrier. Boston's waterfront is a dead zone. All those new condos with their million-dollar harbor views? Empty. Evacuated. The seaport district where tech companies paid premium for office space? Ghost town. Castle Island, Spectacle Island, all the harbor islands? Restricted military zones. The bloom covered everything within 5 days. Not just the water, the shoreline too. Anywhere the tide reaches. It's all crystallized now. Green and glowing. That 3-second pulse. Like the harbor has a heartbeat. Like it's alive, which I guess it is. That's what engineered biological weapons do. They live. I'm still working for MWRA. Technically, though there's not much water quality to monitor when all the water is contaminated. Mostly I coordinate with CDC, with FEMA, with the military units stationed at the quarantine perimeter. Track the bloom's expansion rate. Test new containment methods that don't work. Document the casualties. There have been a lot of casualties. 47 people fully colonized in the first week. All of them consumed contaminated seafood from that initial distribution. All of them in hospitals when they entered final stage. Hospitals that had to be evacuated. Burned later to prevent spread. Ramona was number 12. She's still at Mass General. In isolation. Dormant like the rest of them. Waiting for whatever signal the bloom's going to send. If it sends one, CDC doesn't know if there will be activation. If they'll remain dormant forever or if one day they'll all wake up simultaneously and start spreading it. We don't know anything. Isabella asks about her mother every day. Mom and I decided to tell her Ramona got very sick from the harbor contamination. That the doctors are keeping her asleep while they try to find a cure. That she might wake up someday. That's not exactly a lie. She might wake up, just not as Ramona, as something else. Something wearing my sister's face. Isabella turned 11 last week. We had a small party at Mom's house in Medford. Cake from Stop and Shop. Balloons. Isabella asked if we could go to the aquarium. I told her it's closed because of the harbor situation. Everything's closed because of the harbor situation. She stopped talking about marine biology. Stopped working on her ocean project. Can't blame her. Her ocean tried to kill her mother. I haven't been back to the harbor. Not since that night on the patrol boat. Jerome goes out with the monitoring teams, but I can't. Can't look at what we did. What I recommended. Feed it. Make it stronger. Good plan, Val. Angela doesn't blame me. Says I made the best call with the information available. Says nobody could have predicted it would adapt that fast. But I knew. Knew it was engineered to adapt. Knew it was designed to use human biology as construction material. Knew it would find a way. I just thought we could stop it anyway. Thought 12 years of training and practical competence would be enough. It wasn't. Jerome published our findings. Complete genetic analysis of the bloom. The horizontal gene transfer. The crystalline structures. The heavy metal metabolic pathways. Everything we learned. He submitted it to every major journal: Nature, Science, The Lancet, hoping someone somewhere has seen something similar, has ideas for treatment. Nobody has, because this wasn't natural evolution. This was designed by people who knew exactly what they were creating. People from 1943 who are all dead now, who took their knowledge with them, left us with a biological weapon we can't understand and can't kill. Some days I think about the Paula's original mission. Convoy vessel. Wartime. Carrying experimental weapons to classified locations. What was the plan? Deploy it against enemy populations? Use it to contaminate water supplies? Turn enemy soldiers into distribution vectors? Did they know what they were unleashing? Did they understand the implications? Or did they just see it as another weapon in an ugly war? The jogger from Carson Beach died yesterday. Not from the colonization, you don't die from that. He died from pneumonia, secondary infection. His immune system couldn't fight it off because the bloom had repurposed all his biological resources. He drowned in his own crystallized lungs. They burned his body. Standard protocol now. Can't risk the contamination spreading through the funeral system. I got the notification this morning. Updated casualty count. 48 fully colonized. 73 partially colonized showing early symptoms. 316 exposed but not yet presenting. And those are just confirmed cases. How many more are out there? How many consumed contaminated seafood and don't know yet? The seafood distribution network reached 6 states. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Maine, New York. Every restaurant and market that received product from Boston Harbor in those 3 days. We've been contacting them, testing their inventory, tracing their customers. But people move, people travel, people share food with friends and family. The distribution network is exponential. Impossible to track completely. We're doing our best. It's not enough. It's never enough. Mom asked me yesterday if Ramona's going to die. I told her I don't know. Told her the doctors are doing everything possible. Told her to keep Isabella hopeful. But I don't think Ramona's going to die. I think she's already gone. That thing in the isolation tent isn't my sister. It's a structure built with her biological material. A distribution vector waiting for activation. And when it activates, if it activates, it won't remember being Ramona. Won't remember Isabella or me or Mom. Won't remember teaching Isabella to swim at Carson Beach or making her famous Eras con Gandals on Christmas or complaining about her husband's work travel. It'll just follow its programming. Spread the contamination. Create more vectors. Complete whatever mission the Paula was carrying 80 years ago. I can't live with that, but I do. Every day I do. Isabella came to me last night while I was reviewing contamination reports at Mom's kitchen table. Asked me if the ocean is evil now, if the water is bad. I told her the ocean isn't evil. Told her the water is just water. Told her sometimes people put bad things in the water and the water doesn't know the difference. It just carries them, spreads them, does what water does. She asked if the bad things can be taken out. If we can make the ocean clean again. I wanted to tell her yes. Wanted to say we'll clean up the harbor like we did before. 50 years of environmental recovery that made the water safe enough to swim in. Safe enough for seals and fish and all the marine life that disappeared during the industrial era. But I didn't say that, because I don't know if we can clean this up. Don't know if the bloom can be removed. It's integrated into the entire harbor ecosystem now. Part of the sediment, part of the water chemistry, part of everything. Maybe we'll find a way. Develop some treatment that breaks down the crystalline structures. Some enzyme that digests the algae. Some chemical that neutralizes it without making it stronger. Or maybe Boston Harbor is just contaminated forever. Toxic dead zone. A reminder of what happens when we dump poison in the water and hope it stays buried. Jerome called this morning. Monitoring team found something interesting. The bloom's expansion has stopped. Not regressing, still covering the same area but not spreading anymore. Like it reached some kind of limit. Some optimal size. That should be good news. Means it's contained. Controlled. Not going to spread across the entire Atlantic. Except Jerome doesn't think it's good news. Thinks it means the bloom has everything it needs. Right size, right distribution, right number of vectors. Thinks it's finished growing. Finished preparing. Thinks activation is coming soon. I asked him how soon. He said he doesn't know. Could be days. Could be years. Could be never. But his voice said he thinks it's going to be soon. I'm writing this down because someone should document what happened here. Should explain how an 80-year-old biological weapon combined with a century of industrial pollution to create something worse than either one alone. Should record the decisions we made, the good ones and the bad ones and the ones that seemed right at the time but killed people anyway. I'm writing this down so Isabella will understand. When she's older. When she can process it. Why her mother got sick. Why the harbor closed. Why we couldn't fix it. Why I couldn't fix it. 12 years of training. Marine biology degree. Practical experience with harbor ecosystems. Professional competence and personal determination. None of it mattered. The bloom was engineered by people smarter than me. People with resources I can't match. People who understood biology at levels I'm still trying to comprehend. I was always going to fail, but I thought I could at least save Ramona. Thought if I worked hard enough, tested enough samples, tried enough solutions, I could find something that worked. Could pull her back from the colonization before it finished. I was wrong about that too. She's in Isolation Unit 3 at Mass General. Bed 12. I visit every Tuesday and Friday. Look at her through the plastic sheeting. Watch the crystalline structures spreading. Watch the bioluminescence getting brighter. Watch her waiting. I don't talk to her anymore. Don't know if she can hear. Don't know if there's enough of Ramona left to understand language. I just stand there. Watch her glow. Count the seconds between pulses. 3 seconds. Always 3 seconds. The rhythm matches my heartbeat now. I checked. Jerome noticed it too. Anyone who spends time near the bloom for extended periods starts synchronizing. Heart rate adjusting to match the pulse. We don't know what that means. Don't know if it's the contamination spreading through exposure. Don't know if we're all being slowly colonized just by proximity. Don't know if I'm going to end up in the isolation tent next to Ramona. The MWRA offices relocated to Worcester, too close to the contamination zone in Boston. Angela offered me a position there, coordinating regional response. Same work, different location, better pay. I turned it down. Can't leave. Can't be 3 hours away if something changes. When Ramona wakes up. When the activation happens. When whatever's coming finally comes. Mom thinks I'm punishing myself. Staying close to the thing that killed my sister. She's probably right. But someone needs to be here. Someone who understands what happened. What we created. What I helped create. The waste dumping. That was my call. My recommendation. Feed it until it chokes. Overwhelm its metabolic capacity. Textbook biological control strategy. Except the textbook didn't cover engineered weapons designed to thrive on exactly that kind of intervention. Vickers doesn't blame me either. Says I saved the seaport. Says the hauler ramming kept the Paula from reaching the evacuation zone. Says I did everything right, but Ramona's still in that tent. Still waiting. Still glowing. 47 other people still waiting with her. And I'm still here. Still testing samples. Still trying to find something we missed. Some weakness in the bloom structure. Some vulnerability we can exploit. Jerome thinks I'm wasting my time. Says we've tested everything. Says the bloom is too well designed. Too adaptive. Says we should focus on containment instead of cure. Maybe he's right, but I keep testing anyway. Because what else am I going to do? Go back to monitoring nitrogen levels? Counting dinoflagellates? Pretending the harbor is normal again? The harbor isn't normal. Will never be normal. That 3-second pulse is permanent now. Part of Boston's geography. Like the Big Dig or the Harbor Islands or the skyline. Just another feature. Except this one kills you. Isabella asked me last week if mommy's ever coming home. I told her I don't know. Told her the doctors are still trying. Told her to stay hopeful. She's 11. She knows I'm lying. Kids always know, but she pretends to believe me anyway. Because that's what you do. Pretend things might get better. Pretend there's still hope. Pretend tomorrow might bring a cure. I pretend too. Pretend I'm not already thinking about what happens when Ramona activates. When all 47 vectors activate simultaneously. When they leave their isolation tents and start spreading. CDC has protocols. Quarantine procedures. Neutralization authorization. Neutralization. That's what they call it. Killing people who've been colonized. Burning them before they can spread. I have authorization papers in my desk. Forms I had to sign. Acknowledging that if Ramona activates, if she becomes an active vector, she'll be neutralized. I'll be notified afterward. Given her personal effects. Whatever wasn't contaminated. There won't be a body to bury. Can't risk contamination in the funeral system. Just ashes. Maybe. If they give me anything at all. That's what I'm living with. Knowing my sister is already dead but watching her body wait for instructions. Knowing that when those instructions come, she'll be burned. Knowing I signed the papers that authorize it. I can't live with that, but I do. Every day I do. The monitoring reports came in this morning. Bloom coverage unchanged. 47 vectors stable in dormant state. No new infections in the last week. Contamination contained within established boundaries. Everything stable. Everything controlled. Everything exactly how it's going to stay forever, because we don't know how to fix this. Don't know how to remove the bloom without making it worse. Don't know how to save the people it's colonized. Don't know when, if activation will happen. We just know we failed. Know that something we buried 80 years ago came back. Know that our attempt to clean the harbor, to remove a century of pollution, created the perfect environment for it to grow. Know that I recommended the waste dumping. Know that I fed it. Know that Ramona's in that tent because of choices I made. The competence I was so proud of, 12 years of harbor expertise, meant nothing. Made it worse. Helped it succeed. I should quit. Should walk away. Let someone else monitor the thing I helped create. But I don't. Because someone needs to watch. Someone needs to document what's happening. Someone needs to be ready when activation comes. If it comes. Jerome says maybe it won't. Says maybe the bloom will stay dormant forever. Says maybe we'll learn to live with it. Contaminated harbor, quarantine zone, restricted access. Just part of life now, like living next to a volcano, or a nuclear waste site, or any other thing that might kill you but probably won't today. I don't believe him. The Paula was carrying weapons. Weapons get used. That's what they're for. This one's just taking its time. Isabella's in her room right now, doing homework, math problems and reading assignments and all the normal school stuff. Like the world isn't contaminated. Like her mother isn't glowing in an isolation tent. Like everything's fine. Kids are resilient. Everyone says that. They bounce back. They adapt. They move on. But I see her face when she thinks nobody's watching. See her looking at photos of Ramona. See her crying quietly in the bathroom with the door closed. She's not bouncing back. She's surviving. Learning to live with a hole where her mother used to be. Learning to live with not knowing if that hole will ever be filled or if it's permanent. Same as me. Mom's making dinner downstairs. I can smell it. Pollo guisado. Ramona's recipe. The one she learned from Abuela. The one she was going to teach Isabella when she got older. Now Mom's teaching Isabella instead. Passing it down. Keeping it alive. Because that's what you do when someone's gone. You keep their recipes alive. Their traditions. Their memory. Even when they're not actually gone yet. When they're just waiting in an isolation tent. Glowing green. Their heart beating in 3-second pulses. You keep them alive in the ways you can. I need to go help with dinner. Isabella likes when I'm there. Likes hearing stories about Ramona before the harbor. Before the bloom. Before everything went wrong. I tell her the good stories. Beach days and birthday parties and science projects. All the normal stuff. I don't tell her about the isolation tent. About the crystalline structures spreading. About the neutralization authorization. She doesn't need to know that yet. Maybe she'll never need to know. Maybe the bloom will stay dormant. Maybe Ramona will just sleep forever. Neither dead nor alive. Trapped in that in-between state. Maybe that's the best outcome we can hope for now. Not cure. Not recovery. Not resurrection. Just suspension. Eternal 3-second pulses in a tent we can never enter. I close my laptop. File the contamination reports. Stand up from Mom's kitchen table where I've been working for 6 hours straight. My heart's beating in 3-second pulses. Synchronized with the bloom. With the harbor. With Ramona. With everything I failed to stop. I head downstairs to help with dinner. To tell Isabella stories about her mother. To pretend tomorrow might bring something better. To survive another day of living with what I did. What I couldn't undo. What I'll never be able to fix. The harbor glows in the distance. Green pulse visible from mom's window. 3 seconds. Forever.